Back from Once Upon a Time. This is episode 17 of season 4. Very excited to get back into the show. And yeah, see what's going to happen next, given the last episode ended off with the author being freed from the storybook he's at and about, and he's going to cause some trouble because he doesn't seem like a particularly nice man. So I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with that. We also had Mary Margaret and David's backstory about exactly what went down with Maleficent's kid. And she turned out to be Lily, which was cool. So I'm sure they're going to be revisiting that story fairly soon. And yeah, Emma kind of found out all about that as well, and seems to be a big divide between her and her parents, as there has been on multiple occasions. So yeah, lots going on. And of course we still have Gold and Cruella, Maleficent kind of causing a bit of trouble for everyone as well. So very excited to see, what we're going to be focusing on now, where they're going to take all these different stories. So yeah, let's get into the next one.
No matter how you were manipulated, you still do what you did and you lied to me. You've been lying to me about everything, about
heck.
you, about me.
You're quite possibly the biggest pain in the ass I have ever had the displeasure of writing about.
Yes, there is that. But there's also this.
How much shit does he have in that jacket?
You wanted me to find my happiness.
That's true. Just not at my expense. See, what happened to you? I lost everything. Just as you will.
Oh, that was kind of your own fault for some of it.
Robin of Locksley.
Give that back.
Don't you
I'm
dare.
guessing you have. Ask him yourself.
Shit.
Call.
Yes, call him. And make out with him. And marry him. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Robin Hood does the stealing, thank you. Oh God. Flashback in a flashback.
I'll have no choice but to shutter your tavern and throw you in debtor's prison, and poor old Marion here will have no arms to hold her but mine.
She'd never be with you.
I can speak for myself.
Surprise.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
We need this home, and we're keeping it.
No.
Go.
Is this a trick? Ooh, that wasn't a good angle.
I need you to break into the vault and steal the elixir of the wounded heart.
Where would I be going?
Another realm, a land called Oz.
Call her. Love her forever.
All the dark deeds I've done, taken the toll, poisoned my heart. Remember something from our past? The elixir of the wounded heart.
I do.
Something I asked you, a man of honor. And that, despite everything, is the reason why you will save me.
Oh boy. He's probably not wrong.
Lovely view, ain't it? Bloody hell. Thank you. For what? For saving me life. I'm sure that guard had it in for me. Nice landing.
Oh damn.
You,
That's how he gets involved in Robin's gang.
You steal me some of this potion too, I'll see that this guard wakes up far away from here. Don't want him sounding an alarm now, do we? Consider it a deal.
The Wizard of Oak.
Uh,
Everyone in our world.
Well, apparently
Oh, boy.
being powerful did not.
If you're gonna hide something, why would you cut a whole extra drawer green? Oh my god. That's quite the uniform. It is good to have like flashbacks in TV shows like this, I guess, because you can just keep reusing sets then.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh shit. Oh damn!
Don't make the wrong choice.
I like
Last chance to save your
Golden
life.
Arrow, Robin Hood.
There's only one
Nice
person
little reference.
old enough.
Smoking!
You didn't steal a single drop.
Nothing.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Will.
breaking his code. Have you no honour? Wonder how that tastes.
It's not working.
I tried
Oh.
to convince Robin to let you die, but he just wouldn't listen to reason.
You switched the vials.
I did. The one you drank won't cure your heart, but it will lessen the effects of 7 cold and flu symptoms.
How did she make another
Don't worry.
heart-shaped
It's not lousy.
thing?
Why are you doing this? How is this possible?
Imported magic, dear. It's quite the effective glamour spell.
No, I killed you.
You tried.
Oh my god!
Joe.
Fuck!
Fine.
Yeah, I didn't think she was like gone for good because of that.
For a few careless moments, they left her unattended. That was all I needed.
She's been marrying that whole time.
I killed her.
Fuck! God, they took their sweet time of reading this, didn't they? Damn. Well, Marion really got screwed.
Not being Jesus dead is, well, your son.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. Apollo.
Oh, he's not going to be dead for good. And that's actually the whole point of this scene, is that you're not.
Please, help me.
This bitch! I'm kind of here for it, though. Sorry, Marion. Rest in peace.
I am certain that there is an author who could simply force a happy ending.
Oh,
And
no.
if there's anyone that could find him, I mean, you are aware I have a certain.
She doesn't have much concept of personal space, does she?
My sister. You lost her? She fell through the ice on a lake and drowned. You never intended to sell that potion, did you? You wanted it to mend your own heart. I can't move on me. I don't know how.
Oh, you're going to give it to him.
Out here.
Did he just nick it? Can't trust anything now. All this Zelina shit. Is he Zelina as well? Is Robin Zelina? Am I Zelina? Oh. Oh, he gave it to you.
Bloody scoundrel.
Aww.
She's like a stranger to me now.
I wonder why.
Why did you marry her in the first place? Because I spared it. Never let it go.
You see if you can find us a table.
Alright.
Business a little slow. Not so fast. Brigand, seize them!
Oh, merry man.
You were right about me, Nottingham. By stealing from those who have too much and giving it to those who have too little.
Damn.
This famous hoodlum shall henceforth be known as Robin Hood.
Yes.
When you steal for yourself, that makes you a thief. But when you steal for someone else, that makes you a hero.
I don't know if that's the best message.
Iron.
Steal, kids, as long as it's for other people.
This isn't going to be easy.
But also, won't be boring. Doesn't
No,
matter
not when
where
you're
you are
horrifically murdered.
or what we- I feel like you're here, but you're not here. I know this is hard.
You can talk.
I want to be with you.
I
I love you.
don't.
And you said something to me once that I should have taken to heart. You remember?
Of course. But I want to hear you say it.
Where we are or what we face, I want to be with you. You had to give up everything to be with me, and I lost sight of that. You were once my happy ending, and I was yours.
You thought she was dead.
Don't have that again.
And she is. For goodness sake. You better have it memorised. Thanks, I hate it. Consent, Zelina. You ever heard of it?
Hello, sis. No.
Oh, shit.
You sound like you need a moment. Take it. I'm sure we'll see each other again very soon. Ta-ta.
Oh, boy.
You will do everything I ask. Because one phone call from me, and your beloved dies at the hands of your sister.
She murdered your son.
Rosalina and I have come to...
Oh, no.
And now you and I have an understanding as well.
You made me a monster. But I won't let you do the same to Emma.
So you made your choice, honey. You're choosing the savior over your beloved Robin Hood. Is
God.
that your final answer?
This isn't a game show. Okay, great episode. Really, really enjoyed it. I love that they brought kind of Robin Hood back into it and kind of had a big episode like focused really on him. I'm not sure we've really had that before. Obviously, he's played like big roles in stories and episodes before, but I feel like this was the first Robin Hood centric one we've gotten, and I really, really enjoyed that. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was just cool to see him again and Marion, and Roland, and kind of see what they've been up to since they left Storybrooke, filling in those gaps, tying that into Gold showing up in unexpected ways, and it was kind of a revelation central, basically, this episode, and I really enjoyed it. So it really does, you feel like you kind of get a sense of where the story arc was going in the second half of the season. I feel like this just changes the game with the addition of Zelina now. For better or for worse, I suppose we'll see, because, you know, that might take a lot of the focus away from the whole Gold and Queens of Darkness thing, unless Zelina gets involved in that somehow, or... I don't know. I hope it doesn't seem like, oh yeah, we have this idea where Gold teams up with these three villains, they try and get the happy ending from the author, and halfway through the story arc, I'm like, oh, wait, Zelina could still be around, let's bring her back into it, and like, she's going to be the villain now. I hope it's not like she overshadows what was already going on and it like becomes the Zelina villain show, because she did already have her, you know, like half a season long arc as the villain, so I hope it doesn't become that again. As much as I'm really excited to see her again, and I think the reveal was done really well, I don't want that to be the case, that it becomes like dominating the story that they'd already kind of set up. Otherwise it kind of been like, well, why don't you just introduce Zelina midway point through the season, she's the villain again, instead of building up to this point. So we'll see what happens. Obviously I can't judge it yet because I haven't seen the rest of the season, and I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because I think that would be a bit of a shame. Because it did kind of happen already in this episode, because I was really excited to see more of the author storyline now that he was out and about, free in the storybook. I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be really exciting to see what they do with him. And yeah, he ran around a forest, Gold took him away, we didn't see him again for the rest of the episode. So that was kind of a shame. I was hoping they'd really focus on him and get a bit more of his story being explored. And I know we'll get that, we'll get it eventually, but I feel like it should have been the very next episode, especially because, you know, we spent the whole season them trying to find the author. They finally put a face to the name, and then that whole plot just very quickly was like brushed under the rug. And again, as happy as I am to see the Robin Hood story and everything, and see Zelina, it's a bit of a shame that they completely glossed over the author big reveal at the end of the last episode. You know, they could have just done this episode, maybe swap the episodes around, maybe put this one a bit earlier, and then have the author reveal, and then just carry on the story from there. It just felt a bit weird, but it is what it is. It's not like the end of the world. So yeah, I enjoyed how they tied Gold into Robin's story when him and Marion and Roland are in New York, and this idea of Gold kind of pushing his family away, and how he kind of had everything, then lost everything, and it was never enough for him. He kind of pushed that away. And how they were kind of paralleling that to Robin's story, I thought was really cool. Because because he was trying to fight to keep his family together, both in the flashbacks and in the current day stuff. Well, it still was kind of a flashback because like 9 weeks ago, but you know what I mean. The real world stuff, I suppose, the Enchanted Forest and real world. So I thought that was very well done, and Robin himself was kind of struggling with, is this family, you know, is that enough for him? Because he didn't truly love Marion anymore. He was in love with Regina, and obviously things got very twisted then with Zelena in the mix, and Gold kind of pushed him towards staying with her, I suppose. And that's a bit of a mess, and there's a lot of issue with consent there, which is making me a bit uneasy. Yeah, that's not ideal. But I am intrigued to see where they're going to go with this now. It makes a lot of sense for Zelena to do it. It's very uncomfortable that she's doing it, but it does make sense for her to do it because she wants to get back at Regina. Of course, the main target for that, aside from like Henry, would be to target her true love. So I'm really intrigued to see where they're going to go with that. And obviously Regina found out that she's alive and everything, but now Robin's life could be under threat. She needs to work with Gold maybe to push Emma towards darkness. So that's going to be a whole mess. And yeah, it would be cool that Regina for the past few episodes tried to be undercover to get in with Gold's group. Now maybe she has to be undercover to maintain that, you know, she has to be on Emma's side, for example, because she might have to keep up being like, oh yeah, I am on the side, even though she's being forced to kind of work against Emma. So that could be an interesting thing, that Regina's kind of a double agent almost, or undercover, but slightly switched. That could be kind of interesting. So I like that idea. And this whole kind of situation with Zelena is kind of crazy. And I think in terms of like revealing that she's been Marion ever since they kind of returned from the Enchanted Forest, the fact that they've kind of held back on revealing that for nearly the entire season is kind of crazy. You know, that whole time when Marion was kind of like frozen and dying from the spell. Imagine if they just let it happen, then Zelena would have just died. You'd have thought she'd done something about that when that happened to her, but it would have spoiled the reveal, I suppose. But yeah, because I remember at the end of last season where Gold killed her and like her gas spirit thing went into the time portal and everything. Was like, well, she's not dead, but they left it so long that you kind of forget, oh yeah, she's definitely still alive, because there was that thing that escaped from her. So they waited long enough for you to kind of forget that she was actually still out there and about, and she was definitely going to come back. And then you bring her back into a flashback with Robin. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool they brought her back into it, but then there's a reveal that she's in the present day as well. So I thought in terms of timing of that reveal, I thought it was done really, really well. Never in a million years would have assumed Marion was actually Zelena all this time. Poor Marion, the real one. Like, one timeline she dies, they go back apparently save her, then she got saved just to die like a day later anyway, which kind of sucks. Poor Marion. But I'm intrigued to see what Robin's reaction is going to be when he ultimately finds that out. But yeah, I suppose he's a big fan of Outlaw Queen, I think is their ship name. I kind of really don't like he's like, oh, you know, you gave up so much for me, so I want to be with you, when he clearly does still love Regina. That's kind of frustrating. But he has been manipulated quite significantly, so when all that gets revealed and everything, hopefully him and Regina can find their way back to each other properly. You know, we kind of saw a lot of manipulation with Belle in the first half of the season, with Gold getting evil again and kind of manipulating her and lying to her a lot. It seems like Robin's going to take on that role in the second half. And these people do not deserve it, basically. But yeah, it's still very interesting. And I'm fascinated to see where they're going to go with that story, because it's very messy, very complicated, but I think that's going to make it quite interesting viewing. So I'm looking forward to seeing them explore that a bit more. It's just kind of, it is a shame that they skipped over the author kind of stuff, really. I would have really wanted an episode focused on that and maybe saved off in this reveal, but nonetheless, the reveal is very good and I'm excited for that. And yeah, the build up to it, you know, with like Robin having to steal the heart potion-y thing and how that connected to the present day was fairly good. And it was interesting seeing how he first met Will Scarlet, and that could be how they formed those bonds. That was cool. How he took on the name Robin Hood. It's cool to get some backstory with that, see him and the real Marion, how things used to be. Sheriff Nottingham just being a generic asshole. So yeah, that's probably the weakest part of the episode for me, that stuff. I wasn't all about it. But it is what it is. And I think I was just hoping for more author stuff and more exploration of the backlash to Emma finding out what her parents did. And again, we just got a few little moments like it in the opening couple of scenes, and then the episode took a completely different direction. It's not necessarily a bad thing, I just think maybe a bit mistimed for me personally anyway. And that's just because I have that worry that it's just going to be the Zelina show as opposed to what they've spent, most of this second half of the season building up already as a story. Because, not subverting expectations isn't necessarily good, It can be shocking, but it doesn't mean it's the right move. But again, I really can't judge that yet until the season's out. So yeah, excited about that. And I did like all the backstory with Robin getting the name Robin Hood. Meeting Will Scarlet was a nice little kind of thing, and exploring kind of Robin's honour and how he can test that. His compromise, coming up with the steal from the rich to give to the poor thing. I thought that was very well done. I loved him using the golden arrow against Zelina in the flashback as well. Obviously that's a big part of the Robin Hood kind of story, is the golden arrow. So that was really cool. I like that little reference. And yeah, just the themes of like family and holding on to them versus pushing them away. Is it the family that you really want that they had going on with Gold and Robin? I thought the parallels there worked really, really well. And yeah, the Zelina reveal was kind of crazy. And now, once again, she had kind of Gold under her spell a bit. And yeah, I mean, I won't be mad if Zelina kind of steps up again and kind of dominates the story, but I do think it would have been a shame, because it would have been like, well, what's the point of building up everyone else so far this season? Just to be like, well, Zelina's back. I feel like we already have so much going on with Maleficent and the baby thing. I feel like that could have been a whole arc on its own. And on top of that, we have Cruella, and we still need to kind of explore her backstory and exactly what her happy ending could entail. But I think they're going to work it out. I think there's a good balance, because Zelina wants to find the author as well. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be like she's going to dominate everything. But I would have at this point wanted more author stuff. This felt like a very kind of separate thing from the main arc for the most part. But again, that's not a bad thing, because I really, really enjoyed this episode. It's just a few kind of things. It just, structurally, it seems a bit odd. And I do feel like there was more, I talked about this in the previous reaction, I felt there's more structure in the first arc this season. I feel like that was more well played out and planned out and everything. Whereas this one maybe doesn't quite have that for me, but I think the episodes, like singular episodes in this arc, have been a lot better than the first half of the season. So it's a very odd balance, but I think they're going to do something pretty cool with it. And I love the Zelina reveal. I love the focus on Robin. The poor Marion twist, man, it has changed the game. We'll have to wait and see whether or not it's a good thing that they've done that. And yeah, I think it's a shame that they kind of glossed over the author thing in this episode. I would have really wanted more explanation of that right away. Even if we're going to get it eventually, but I feel like it's a shame to not get it right off the bat, because they built up such a good momentum in the last episode with that reveal of the author, and it was just like, oh, okay, you're not going to explore it, okay. So that was a bit odd, but nonetheless, this is a fantastic episode. Really, really loved it. The twists were kind of crazy, and it set the stage for some really cool stuff. I think with Regina, kind of her hand being forced, could be quite cool. This divide with Emma and her parents again, where they could be leading with Emma going dark potentially, which I really like the idea of. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a lot more focus on the author and the whole Queens of Darkness thing, because they haven't really been front and center of their entire arc really. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely odd. It's an odd placement, but a good episode. And yeah, very intrigued to see what they have in store. And I can't really judge any of, these worries that I have just yet because I haven't seen where they go with it. And I could very easily be wrong, and there's certainly signs that I have nothing to worry about. But I thought I'd get them out there because if they do something brilliant with the rest of this season, I can be like, well, look how amazing this all turned out. Look how amazing this season's been because they really subverted the expectations in a good way and they kind of calmed my worries and kind of got rid of them. So I think that's a good thing. I don't like to be overly negative. If I like some things I don't like, and again, I'm not being overly negative because I really love this episode. It's Robin Hood centric, of course I'm gonna fucking love it. But I do try and really focus on the positives on my channel. I like to be positive about episodes, even if I'm not so keen on them. I'm just like, you know what, that's interesting. I wouldn't say it's bad. I'd say, oh, that's interesting, even if I despised it. But I don't think I've ever despised anything Once Upon a Time's done. I think it's always been consistent and really good. But yeah, I don't tend to like. There are a lot of reactors I feel like out there who critique every little thing and hate on things because it's funny or apparently entertaining. That's just not me. I like to find the positives in even the things I don't like and try and see it that way, unless there's just nothing redeeming it for me. And the reason I still voice those critiques and stuff like that is because it opens up the chance later on down the line to really praise these shows that I watch. Because more often than not, they'll do something really cool and I'm like, that was great. I didn't need to be worried about it. And I think that's a really positive way of looking at shows. So if you don't I think to be a fan of something is to kind of worry about it and critique where they're going with things. Because it just opens up the possibility to really kind of praise it. So that's kind of where I'm going, and that's where I'm at right now with the Zelina reveal and the expectations and the author not really getting much focus in this one. We still have like 5 episodes left of the season, I think. So they've got plenty of time, and I'm very excited. So yeah, fantastic episode, really loved it. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.